Okay, guys, hang on. Guys.
The struggle, got all of it, I'm able to be with you and hit another double.
Back to Michelle. So I first became acquainted with Michelle through Erica. I don't really know myself personally the history on their relationship. I do know that we met one night, I think in New Orleans. We drove around, picked her up somewhere, we're talking. I think it was she and Eddie Ann, who was at the time her fiance. And it's a vague memory, but we chatted a lot, kind of found out how they met and got together and everything. And apparently, I only know from Eddie Ann, Michelle tells me that she's known Erica since Erica was showing horses at the fairgrounds in New Orleans. Apparently her dad, Erica's father, had a feed store or some kind of feed business for the animals, and Michelle was involved in some way with the activities on the racetrack. So they were acquainted somehow through her dad's feed store. Apparently maybe Michelle had a horse or something too, I don't know, but she met Erica initially there. I don't think it was when she was 16, but who knows, I don't know. Right. But then I met Erica about 2012, December 2012.
Okay.
I had just been divorced about 3 or 4 years. I had just gone through a hell of a trauma with my ex-wife because of the stuff that she had pulled with my daughter. And I spent 2 years defending myself against horrific accusations of abuse. Stupid bullshit. It wasn't true. Cops knew it. The judge knew it. I had sole custody of my daughter for a while. We worked out a joint custody agreement after I had sole custody. And finally, I'm back on the North Shore again, in the Covington area. And I am starting to date again and all this stuff. And that's where I met Erica. Erica and I met on a dating site. We actually knew each other. We were around each other in college, but didn't know each other. And had a lot of the same friends. I was in the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. A lot of my fraternity brothers knew her and hung out with her and their girlfriends, their wives. And it was just a strange kind of thing. We just happened to connect. Found out we had the same friends and sort of the college history and all this. And we started talking and compared notes. We had a lot of the same experiences, all the same things. Just didn't know each other were there. Just here we are connecting. And so let's meet. So we met at her business. She worked at the Hotel Indigo in New Orleans. She was the food and beverage manager there. And she was mostly manning the bar, but she was the food and beverage manager. So she did everything. She worked with the chefs. She took care of the bar. She maintained everything. She was on top of her game. Really, she was walking 9 miles a day in great health. Kind of a sturdy girl, but she was healthy and took decent care of herself. So I thought. And she and I just we met in December in the parking lot of a hotel. I was on the way to a sales job out of state in my work car, and we met in the parking lot, had a conversation, just a little bit. It was all right. Just stayed friends for the next 2 or 3 years. And I had the relationship stuff that came and went, and she and I reconnected, and we just kind of hit it off, starting having been friends, and became close and intimate. And eventually, a year later, we were married in 2015. So while we were married, that was when we became acquainted with Michelle. Apparently, according to Eddie Ann, who I've talked to the past week, he said that Michelle was up there claiming that they've been friends since they were 16. I don't know that that's true or not. I'm a little skeptical of that. But according to Eddie Ann, they met in 2013, not long after I had met Erica. We weren't dating yet, but she had met Erica at the Hotel Indigo. Who knows what she was doing there?
With my boyfriend, Ray.
That was where Eddie Ann said that Michelle told him they met. So was it her father's feed store at the fairgrounds showing horses? Who knows? Was it at the hotel and they had this rapport, or that was the beginning? Who knows? But I met Michelle through Erica after that when I said we had met her and Eddie Ann out on town in New Orleans. Seemed pretty benign. She's kind of a wild person. Eddie Ann was a pretty sharp guy, former tank officer in the Army, major, so he was 04. I was a former intelligence officer. I was in 02, select 03. I left before I was promoted to full lieutenant in the Navy. My officer advisor behind me, and my garrison cap, sorry, I can't remember where everything there all the time. So that was my military association. So anyway, Eddie Ann's seen some stuff. Being a tanker in Iraq, as I understand it, he saw some perfect things. I was an intelligence officer, so I was safe behind the cubicle, and working doing analysis here in New Orleans at the Naval Air Station, no chase. So my service was different, no less, but I was not the kind of traumas that Eddie Ann had suffered. During my relationship with Erica, when I wasn't
cheating on her.
When I hadn't actually, I hadn't met Michelle like but once or twice at this point, and she would talk to Michelle quite a bit on the phone, apparently. I don't know how much, but whenever she did, typically toward the end of Erica's life, when Eddie Ann and her were divorcing, my understanding from Erica, and I'm stressing from Erica, who had just got on the phone, would say, here's what she said, is that, Michelle's pushing 50, might be over 50, I'm not quite sure how old she actually is, but when Eddie Ann finally had enough, there was a lot of craziness going on. He left, and I don't need any details of that, but that might be fair to Eddie Ann. But with Erica,
he's a very nice man.
Oh, he is. He's a wonderful person. He's had a lot happen. He's hey, stop it. But all the how they're playing on the couch and they have to park each other. Anyway, where was I? they again talk about being an escort again because she has no money. She wants to go back and do what she used to do. So when I did talk to Michelle, I can backtrack a little bit here. So she and I had a few conversations. The night that I met with her and Erica and Indiana, she showed me her cell phone, and she had a lot of Hollywood celebrities on her cell phone. Their numbers. Robert De Niro was one of them.
Stop.
Being an escort for him and other people. She claimed to be a stunt double. I don't know. Okay, hold on a second. Stop. So I had an issue. I left the police department where I was working as a director of a crime lab. And
yes, we're talking about that today. Claiming you got fired for sexually harassing somebody or something.
No. Well, okay, we'll divert and talk about that. So basically, we had an employee who came in who herself was fired from the state police crime lab for incompetence. When she got fired, her was demoted from a DNA analyst trainee because she was incompetent due to a simple technician. She endured that for a while, but then she applied to the NOPD as a DNA tech at the state police crime lab because the state police crime lab was doing all their DNA analysis there. And they would have employees that were doing the job at the state police crime because there was no DNA lab at NOPD because Katrina took it out. They just never got off the ground to getting another lab built until recently. So this girl comes in and long story, but basically she was appointed a co-manager with me. She had no business being a co-manager because she had never been trained as a forensic scientist herself, but yet here she is in NOPD lab, trying to assist me according to the commander's directive to get the laboratory accredited. There were so many problems in NOPD I cannot begin to tell you. So because she hadn't been trained in forensics, I spent every day lecturing her about how the laboratory is supposed to function. Here's how this unit functions. Here's what it's actually doing, not doing, I should say. And this went on for several months, or a couple months. And at one point got to one particular employee you were talking about. She was the sole scientist in one section. She wasn't even a scientist, actually. All she did was swab guns for DNA and take fingerprints, or belt fingerprints, and she wasn't really good at it. She never got a single DNA profile from her swab, so she was not competent. She was not a scientist. She was not doing anything analytical. So this young lady who had come from state police is trying to help me. I'm teaching her about how laboratory is supposed to function and how we're supposed to try to get laboratory up to par. We're having a conversation about this particular young lady in the lab, amongst many others. And I said, look, this girl she's barely literate. She can barely read and write. I mean, you can't read her writing. She's allegedly having a relationship that is inappropriate with the commander himself. And she has messed up multiple analyses she was doing, processing vehicles. There was one NOPD employee whose husband got shot while driving in his vehicle, wasn't even a police officer, and the bullet this girl couldn't find. But when the wife came to claim the vehicle back after the analysis of the vehicle, the bullet rolled off the damn dashboard. So she didn't even see the bullet. It was just sitting on top of the dashboard. So that was evidence, which could not be submitted later because, hey, it was not found in the initial processing. So it just got, washed under the rug, basically, or swept under the rug. So nothing happened. So the girl's not competent. I was making some comments about that, and I made the mistake of saying, because she's barely literate and can't, speak properly and does not sell herself well, I said to this other, unfortunately, black female, who I thought was a friend, this girl talks like she walks out of the ghetto. And she immediately took that and made a complaint. The reason why she complained was because I did not support her being the actual QA, quality assurance, quality control. She walks out of the ghetto. So she made a racial complaint that I was discriminatory. They decided to go ahead and terminate me. I fought the termination. In the military, you don't care what color the guy is next to you. But I did say some clumsy things that got me in trouble. But the intent was innocent, was with the right intention in mind. It just was the wrong environment. The corruption of the NOPD is still extreme, and there was no way for anyone to be a success there. Best luck to them. That's the truth behind Michelle's slander with that. But I talked to Michelle when it happened because I was thinking about trying to work somewhere else, and I wanted to be a consultant for some of these forensic shows in Hollywood. This is something I was thinking about doing. So things like CSI, NCIS, they have a forensic angle to them. And she allegedly knew people from her stunt double work in the Hollywood industry. So, yeah. Well, she had Robert De Niro's number on her cell phone, and I saw it. So, that was what that conversation was all about. And it wasn't a very fruitful conversation. She said she talked to some people, but nothing ever came of it. I gave up that angle because my real interest was and is forensic science education. So I have opportunities now, will soon, to hopefully go teaching overseas like I did when I was in Baghdad. Gosh, I would hear Erica would talk on the phone with Michelle back to her again, and I would hear right away the stuff that Erica was saying about Michelle after the conversation. Oh my God, she's lost her mind. She's having trouble with this. She's just not right. And
this was after she was divorced from Etienne, or
I think it was after Etienne initially left her. They weren't divorced yet. I couldn't say. So as I mentioned before, Michelle was wanting to go back to being an escort. Now, Eddie Ann said she was a prostitute. She in our conversation on the ship, she said, I was not a prostitute, Trey, I was an escort. Well, that's the same darn thing. It's just your focus is not sex. You're giving the person, you're giving the person your time, which ultimately, concludes in a sexual encounter. But they're not entirely paying you just for sex. You can get away with saying you're not a prostitute, but ultimately you're a prostitute, and that's.
Yeah, well, I remember when she got all drunk and told everybody on New Year's Eve how she had golden PUSSY and all this other stuff.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, very charming. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, she apparently has some drug issues. So when Erica and I went to her wedding when Eddie and her got married at their place in Pine Mountain, Georgia. They got married at their home. It was very well. It was at the time very nice. And it was a lovely wedding. Not my kind of thing, but I prefer getting married traditionally. But it was fine. But Michelle was smoking weed the whole time. This is really not that important to me. But something kind of ticked me off when I saw those three women, the legit honey and the free rent or retreat person and that monkey Mar chick, making the comments they did. People are actually buying this garbage, and Michelle is presenting stuff in a certain way that's just not true. And I'll say my piece about it, and I'll say what took me a while to think about it, but I decided I'll say some things about it and answer those things and present the situation the way it really happened. Because the only thing Michelle was showing was text conversations, and they were interrupted by phone conversations. So you don't see obviously you can't see or be aware of the verbal conversations that were had that were sitting so very different than what she's trying to present in that. She was fully engaged in that. She was using sexuality to try and get me to get money out of her, or excuse me, to get money out of me, her get money out of me. And at some point, I got in, I gave her money, but it was denying that there will be any sex. It was, hey, you're in need, I'm here to help you with that, but there's not going to be anything else at this point. There was just some flirtatious banter, but that was the extent of it. And I called that off. She did not call it off. I did. She got mad when I called it off. And, she can try and claim that, but it doesn't matter. I don't really understand why she's making such a big deal about it all. Because, that was just what it was, and she came back with her money, so she can't be that pissed off. So, I mean, there's that. And I had every intention of remaining friends with her, but I told her when I saw that clip about her making claims as being a dating couple, there was kind of romance, maybe be roommates, maybe some kind of thing. After that, how gorgeous I am, come on, I'm pretty humble about all of it, and I just, I don't get that kind of dysfunctional life. I never agreed to any of that. There was no real relationship. There was no agreement to live together. There was some chatter about us spending a weekend or a night together at Diamond Head at our friend's bed and breakfast, or Airbnb rather. But even I wasn't kind of comfortable with that because I've got a life relationship to hold, and I have a stepdaughter. I don't have to, but I am taking care of for the time being. She does not need to be seeing me and being aware of where I'm going, what I'm doing. That was the whole point of the Uber thing. I do need to explain that. Not that I have to, but Monkey Mar and what her name was, Legit Blondie and Free Rent Free were saying, why does he have to get a Uber? What's up with that? Well, my stepdaughter lives in my apartment with me. If I come home and I get in my car, she'll know that I'm back home because my car is parked here. I don't want her to know my business. I'm trying to keep things private. If I want to travel somewhere, so I have to either. I think
it would be creepier if you brought a woman back to the house with your stepdaughter.
Yeah, well,
that would be creepier.
So that's never going to happen. Now, the girl that I'm seeing now, she has been here before, and she has been here with my stepdaughter here. But that's okay because
that's a relationship. So that's
exactly. So
you're not having a rendezvous in the middle of the night.
That never would happen. Yeah, and so that's something that that's not in my character. That's not in my persona. So Michelle is when Eddie Ann and I talked last week. One of the comments he made was that she doesn't understand what's coming. And I don't think this is revealing any kind of plan because there's nothing that you can do. The judge is sick and tired of Michelle. Michelle does not have an attorney. She's representing herself, which is stupid. Of course, she can't afford an attorney, so whatever. But she gets in the courtroom apparently, and she starts blabbing her mouth, and making all kinds of demands and just talking out of turn. The judge smacks her down, shuts her up, and shuts her down. That's the end of it. Then he listens to Eddie Ann, and the Eddie Ann has his piece. So that's that sounds about right?
Yeah.
And then basically he's saying, look, she is supposed to allow contractors to come to the house to. Now I don't know if it's true. This is what Eddie Ann's telling me, but I buy it. That she's supposed to have contractors come to the house to do repairs on the home, and other people realtors come to assess the value of the home. It's a court order, but she's not allowing it because she knows if she allows it to happen, then the house gets sold and she's out of a place to stay. So what she does is she threatens people who come to the house. She has firearms there, apparently. I may be crosswalking some things, but as I understand what Eddie Ann told me, she threatens people who come to the house and they're scared to run away. And some of the contractors who come to do repairs say, look, I can't deal with this crap. You need to figure this out because I'm not going to deal with her. So she's holding on to some place that she really, at best, is going to get only a portion of when they sell it. I think he's going to split it. He made it clear that he checked to make sure, the laws were Georgia is not a community property state. He's not have to give her half of anything. But that was the one thing that was uncontested, or that was contested rather. Everything else was uncontested. So because the house is contested, they're probably going to have to sell the house and split it. So she's got to know she's going to be out on her butt pretty quick. So the way he put it was that Michelle is a wild animal trapped in the corner, and she's lashing out, and she's desperate. She has, and I heard someone else say she's had more than 2 years to get her shit together, and all she's done is live on his alimony and stuff, and has done nothing with herself. And she did get this license to go to adjusting, but she's not apparently doing anything. And I could be wrong about that. Maybe she has, but it seems to me that she has not, because there's always a need for that. There's tornadoes, floods, all kinds of natural disasters in the United States at any given time. And there's always insurance adjusters out there working these things all the time. You don't have to have a hurricane for that to be the case. But she says she's waiting on a hurricane to come so she can go out and be called some natural disaster somewhere or something like that. And that's why she hasn't done it yet. That's why she's not doing it now. That's why she's getting this course done so she can call it out and be qualified. Something's wrong with that. And like I said, especially when I hear her say, on a clip that someone sent me, actually, it was a clip that someone sent me, I'm going to hit this guy for $600 a month, and I got this one guy I can turn a trick with, another guy I can turn a trick with, and make $800 a month. So she's talking about prostituting herself. Mm-hmm. Which is what she propositioned me for to get the last bit of money she got out of me for. So, and I turned that down and said, look, I'll just give you the money anyway. We're not connected. We're not in a relationship. I need the stuff. And that's really all I got to say about that. I'm going to take a quick little break. I'll go for the questions, and we'll go from there. Stand by.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, guys, and I'm going to clarify too. You guys can ask him. I did not. He reached out to me and he asked to come on. I never, ever, ever asked him. I thought it was not really him, to be honest. So get your facts straight, Michelle, while you're streaming, and get your fucking facts straight. If he doesn't have a platform and he wanted to come and say what he wanted to say, then that's his prerogative. He's a grown man. It's not like he's a 20-year-old child or something. Yeah, that's what he said. He just wanted to clear his name. Nobody wants to be. It really bothered him what they said in that chat. That's what really upset him. I didn't know his real name or how to find him. I would have never looked him up. Yes, or threat.
I appreciate y'all listening and being interested.
They said, you're so handsome. They call her the demon.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Lovely comment. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't think I'm going to give a shit about that. That's just me. I'm not going to court over it. I'm not getting involved in all that stuff. I don't think Eddie Ann would appreciate it. I don't think it's going to do Michelle any good anyway. I don't think that I have anything relevant to bring to the table for her divorce proceedings, property settlement proceedings. I don't have visibility over what's entirely factual or not, but Eddie Ann has more visibility over that than I do, so.
something, and away we go. Look.